Hey everyone, we are talking about Comme des Garcons, the self-titled 2011 version. This really lit off my interest in super weird fragrances, so I'm excited to share with everyone. Haven't opened this yet, open it right now. I tried it from a sample, fell in love with it, had to get it. It was really hard to find for a while, but luckily it's back in stock. I will put a link in the description where you can get a sample or a bottle. So immediately you open it up and it is weird looking, just like the scent itself, fitting. Kind of just a plain white box, so not going too much for the weird theme in that sense, but it's like shrink wrapped into here. I don't know if that's supposed to be part of the artsy thing or just kind of like not frustration-free packaging, but give me a second, I'll get it open. And man, this feels kind of cheaper than you'd expect, and I kind of felt that too about the Comme des Garcons Black EDT version, but I guess I'm glad that it clicks into place enough at least. Bottle is really quirky and cool. That's not glitter, which it might look like in the camera, but just kind of like air bubbles. I can't tell if it's part of the actual liquid or the bottle, but very weird shape. Comme des Garcons written across it. And I did not know this at first, but it's intentional that it does not stand up straight. Very artsy, very annoying. So, for example, like it's just gonna wobble, and it doesn't even really stand on its side, and even here it's just kind of like that. So I knew that about the Pebble series of Comme des Garcons, but didn't know about this one. Would have been nice if this could at least stand up, so I'm going to take points away from that, but let's get on to the scent. The notes in this are aldehydes, saffron, hawthorn, lilac, industrial glue, brown sticky packing tape, musk, and styrax. So when I first saw that before trying it, it was kind of like, wait, what? Industrial glue, packing tape, and those weren't even the biggest things that turned me off of it, because it's like aldehydes can go way too far sometimes. Saffron can be gross to me sometimes. I'm not a big fan of florals. So it was more just trying it out of like, okay, curiosity. I mean, it's interesting, but I love it. So they say, at least on Fragrantica, that the glue and the tape notes are in the base. In my experience of wearing it, that's really not true at all. They're actually very much in the opening, which is part of why I find this so wearable. Because you get the opening, which is like this hit of nostalgia. For me, at least, it reminds me of being a kid, doing like school projects and stuff with, I guess, industrial glue and tape and whatnot, and just art projects in general. Oh, it's just so good. Like that nostalgic part, there's almost like an old electronic dusty type of smell or something in it. But it's immediately also supported. The aldehydes and saffron give it this really like airy feel. Yep, and same with maybe the musk and styrax coming in at some point that kind of add to that sort of floating feeling, a bit resinous and balsamic, but for the most part just kind of like glue and tape just floating through the air. I don't necessarily get the flowers like right at the beginning, but I also don't know that much what lilac and hawthorn smell like as individual notes. But yeah, it's really intense beginning. I don't think I'd want to wear this out and about if it was just the beginning and it was, say, linear, or if the beginning came later and was what people were going to be smelling on me. Because yeah, I mean, I don't really want like, hey, you smell like glue and tape. Like that's nostalgic and fun for me, but it's not really a vibe I want to give off unless I'm going to like an art class or something. And pretty quickly, the saffron here is very leathery, and I think that's kind of intentional that they made it like that too, but not a hardcore leather, nothing disturbing or animalic or anything like that, just kind of like a gentle leather. So it starts to float from that airy opening of the tape and glue and the aldehydes and saffron, and then the kind of florals start to come in, and it never smells explicitly floral to me. There's always some kind of deeper notes in there. I mean, this is definitely, I wouldn't consider it feminine leaning. I think it's completely unisex all the way. And yeah, but it does become kind of like, I think probably the lilac, the hawthorn, and this kind of leathery saffron accord. Carry it forward. It's really unique though, even after the glue and the tape kind of start to go away a little bit, it still doesn't smell like anything else I've ever smelled, really. And I would say, yeah, within 5 minutes of the opening, it becomes wearable. I mean, straight up. It's hard to even describe it because it's just very unique, and you still get some of that kind of glue and, you know, tape and whatever else it is that's making up those weird industrial accords as it carries on, but it really mostly dissipates, especially the weird recognizable factor of it. So what I love about this too is that I get the fun of having this really cool opening, hit of nostalgia, like weirdness, but then I can just wear it the rest of the day or whatever I'm doing the night and enjoy the later phases of it. Projection's pretty low. I don't spray a lot at a time. Maybe it'd be different if you did. I also don't get a ton of longevity about this, but I wouldn't want to from something like this either. I kind of like, it's usually something that I would only put on at night really anyway, and doesn't last that long, so that's fine. If it's like I'm going to be taking a shower, I want to put on something else after that anyway. This isn't something that you wear like, oh, I'm going to go to something professional or like date night with my wife or something like that. I don't think that this isn't going to be a compliment magnet, even in the later phases, I don't think. But it's also not going to be, I don't think, offensive, least of all now, which because it's not going to be coming off of you in waves like a lot of scents would be. Yeah, it's just the deep, leathery sort of saffron. I hesitate to even say that because I don't like saffron that much. I love it in food. I don't love it as a note. But just something about that leathery sort of lightly, I guess, yeah, lilac and hawthorn vibe that it turns into. So what I would say about this is, in my experience, is better in cold weather. This could get really just overwhelming and just kind of like if it was really hot out. When I tried to apply it during the day when it was hot out, I didn't really like how it felt. So personally, I stick to this more at night. Also because, like I mentioned, it's not a going out fragrance. I have to say, like, I would never buy something just for the bottle art, but it's so nice when you like a fragrance that actually has a really cool bottle. I just wish it stood up straight. That is not cute to me. The bottle being weird is, but not the fact that I can't just, like, you know, display it like that. Not sure exactly how I'm gonna even put it in my collection, but I highly recommend this if you are at all interested in niche. I mean, Comme des Garcons is really a designer, not niche, so to speak, but their fragrances are absolutely niche smelling, most of them at least. And this is just a fun experience. I'm pretty sure you'll get some kind of nostalgia from the glue and tape notes. And it might kick off something for you like it did for me, because after this, now I want to try everything that I can find that has an industrial glue note or tape or something like that, because it's just so interesting and captivating. So highly recommend this. Again, I'll put a link in the description. You can buy a bottle or a sample. I believe it's about $140 for 100 milliliter, which is not bad at all for something that's this unique and interesting and fun and stuff like that. So yeah, check it out. I think you can get a sample for about $5. Definitely worth your while. Don't blind buy, as I would say about everything, but try a sample. Whether or not you think you're going to like it, this is one I would just recommend across the board because it's just fun. You can't really go wrong with getting a sample of this. So yeah, let me know what you think if you try it.